Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Great. Jen, we can't hear you.
You can.
I was on mute. Oh my goodness.
Ah,
So sorry. It's been such a
one of
crazy
my
evening.
tricks.
I was like, wait, welcome. I was like, who can't hear? It's me. I'm the one not talking. I'm so excited. Look, I am so excited. I hit the mute button. We are here on a special edition of the Vegan Knowledge JJ, and Dawn here is with J&J Video Reacts, our producer. Thank you to my sister for the little eat your vegetables at the beginning, Brooke, and our special guest that we've been so excited for, this Angela and Marakita. Welcome Buddha, everybody.
Hi, Marakita.
I'm
Hi,
so
Buddha.
thankful.
What's up, ladies?
Now, Angela, would you do this first before I give you the intro? Can you say your last name, how you say it?
Thank you for that. I appreciate it. It's Fischetti.
Fischetti. All right. See,
Okay.
I was going to mess it up. And so I've been saying it wrong in my
I would
head.
have said Fischetti, and you're probably used to that. So Fischetti, got it.
Fischetti.
Okay.
And I just want to welcome her. She is, you can already tell her energy just feeling her through the screen here. She is a very well respected fitness instructor. And what Angela does, which I find so unique, is she works with different types of people, not only the people who are super big and strong and ready to work out, but she helps people. I was just talking to you earlier, paraplegic. If you're elderly and you're happen to be in a wheelchair, she can find workouts that, along with you and working with your working with your doctor to make sure everything is able to maneuver, then she can find workouts that will actually help you get in shape. And as we know, like we talk about this all the time, it's all about mind, body, spirit, and like everything all in one, and what we eat. So like I feel like in my life I'm missing the workout. I used to be really into it, and I'm like talking with Angela and just watching her videos. She has really inspired me. I've been getting even on my little exercise for about 20 minutes a couple times. I've done it. I was gonna say a week, but I'd be lying. So I've done it a few times this month. Let's put it that way.
Look, I was working out Monday through Friday consistently, and then I injured like right here, the top part of my thigh. I think I strained a muscle.
Can you stand up for me to show me where?
Like right here?
Step back just a little, if that's okay, as long as you don't like disconnect yourself or something.
Look at this. We're getting live coaching right here.
Well, you got me here.
Like right here?
Okay, so at the groin. All right. So typically I'm not a doctor, right? But that's referred to as the hip flexor area, right? So the iliopsoas, two muscles of the hip flexors, plus you have one of the quadricep muscles as well, that front thigh. So if you've been doing like lots of deep squats, or like lots of like pulling the knees up toward the chest and stuff like that.
Actually, yeah, I have a total gym.
Mm-hmm.
So I do squats on that, and one of the things that I do, I have the attachments, and I lay back and I pull my legs up.
Okay, so that is okay. So it's a straight leg. Straight legs are coming up. I would knock that out for a little while, and what I would do instead is just let's down step it a little bit, and let's have your knees bent. The problem is that a lot of people will go, that's a pretty advanced exercise. And I'm not suggesting that you can't do that. But what I am telling you is that you have an injury from that, right? So you have something bothering you, because there's an element to that exercise that's more about thrusting with momentum than being conscious about what you're doing. All right.
Yeah, because I've been doing that for like years, like the past couple years, like every day.
Right. So now, every day is too much. It's too much.
Five times a week.
What you want to do is, when you exercise, it's not the same routine 5 times a week. You want to do that stuff on non-consecutive days. So if it's
Oh,
Sunday,
Ah,
right. So I'm not telling you not to do it whenever
I got you. Switch it
you,
up.
you got to rest the muscle in order for it to have the power to come back and serve you again.
Ah,
Got to have
okay.
downtime. So on that downtime, I want you working the back extensor muscles, all right? And you're going to see something here in today's program that's precisely for that. And then you're going to see a stretch for it. So that's the stuff that will help you. We want to balance the body, and we do so much with forward flexion and flexion of the hips, all right, that we're messing up the back extension part. We
Okay, let me ask you a question, because when I'm done the workout, what I do is I work out for about 40 minutes on the total gym, and I'm doing arms, I'm doing the squats, I'm doing some sit-ups, and I'm doing those leg lifts. And then after that, I get about 45 minutes in on my spinner. When I'm done that, I immediately go into like a 20 or 25-minute yoga session where I stretch it
love it.
out. Is that
I,
okay?
wait,
That's what I was
wait a
going to
minute,
ask you.
hold on. I love the yoga. I don't
Okay.
love the spinning after these leg thrusts, because all you're doing is getting on the bike. And what do you think that's doing? It's putting my hip into flexion for whatever amount of time you're on that bike.
Okay.
Got it? So what I would do is, if I want to do that bike every day, I'm not doing those, thrusting those legs every day. I'm
Oh,
every
okay.
other day.
oh,
Or you figure out another cardio to do.
Well, I love the spinner.
All right.
I
I don't
love the
want
spinner. So I'm gonna
you
switch up.
I don't want you
I'm trying to get her to go for like a walk too. I
now.
think
Let me
that's
tell
good
you something.
cardio.
Let me tell you something. I did my fitness walk on the beach. My cardio is, I love to rebound, jump on the rebound at the trampoline. And because of pre-existing osteoporosis, which I no longer have, by the way. All right.
Nice.
Good
Yeah,
job.
thank you. It took 3 years, but I don't have it. So I rebound only with a 2-pound weighted vest, because I know the condition of my spine and my issues, right? I do that for 40 minutes, and honey, I'm cutting the sweat and I'm bouncing to like beat the band, okay? Then I take off the vest, and then I put on a 12.5-pound weighted vest, and I do a fitness walk on the beach. I am not walking the dog.
Right.
I am
Right.
going. I'm hoofing, and and I love it. I have to say this to you folks. I have to. I love it when the young people come by me. I just turned 65, and they come by me.
Wow.
You look fantastic.
I'm doing my thing, fitness walking, pumping the arms, wearing that vest out there in the heat of the Miami Beach sun, and they're walking by and they go like this. They're like, I'm like, I know, man, I know, But my point is it's variety. It's variety. I lift weights. I do the yoga. I love that you do the yoga after these other modalities. But you, with that leg thrust, I can't tell you that I'm a big fan, because I can't translate that movement into activities of daily living and how this is going to serve you in the long run. Yeah, but
I'm trying to do core.
you know what core is? You know what core is? According to Harvard Health, all right? Core are the back extensor muscles. You're going to see an exercise for that. These are the muscles that hold us upright and erect, okay?
Okay.
Then there are also, of course, abdominal muscles, but I want you to think about two in particular. I want you to think about the transverse abdominis. This is the deepest of the core, and it resembles internally, like I don't even know if you'll know what this is, an internal girdle, all right? An internal corset. The transverse abdominis goes from below the belly button, then kind of wraps around, goes to the side, and a little bit to the back. Then the other one you want to focus on is you're going to do those internal and external oblique muscles, also quite deep to the core. What else is core muscle? Glutes. Glutes are core. All right. And believe it or not, certain pelvic floor muscles are core. So you got a lot that's going on with core. It's not just the abs, not
Okay.
by any stretch. So if I can get you to focus on some back extension and come from the perspective of back extension means I'm going to get those glutes and I'm going to get my hamstrings because they do extension as well. I want to help you broaden your perspective. That's all.
I
Okay, cool.
love
I'm
it.
down. I'm here
Wow,
for it.
and
I'm here
I can
for it.
see why she's a fitness instructor and coach right now because that
Yeah, and she's passionate
the
about it.
amount of knowledge you had just from saying one thing about her injury was just that was excellent. And I just watched a video on your channel about the vest because I remember because I made one of my puns and said I'll have to invest in some of these. So we have a comment
Hey,
here.
that's a stock joke.
Buddha said, "Wow, Angela, you look fabulous and fit." Yes, she does. And Buddha said, "I go to the gym and work out with my swole mates 3 days a week." Marakita said, "Makes sense. Change it up." And she said, "Dr. Clapper recommended weighted vests. How heavy do we get?"
Great question, okay? And it's in fact, Dr. Clapper passed on a message to me by way of Dr. Lori Marbus on a webinar one day because I put some questions about the weighted vest to him. And he said to me, not to exceed 10% of your body weight. Now, I have to tell you something that, yeah, like I did a show where I wore a 20-pound weighted vest. Now, let me explain something. I've been doing the weighted vest a long time. And I had just come out of a cast from my wrist. I was on Marikita's show. I think I had a cast on. All right. And on this other show, I had just removed the cast, had a broken wrist. It was only removed 3 or 4 days before. And I
Wow.
was like, well, I got to show the people what I did and do when I had a cast on. I got to still treat it like it has a cast. So I slapped on that 20-pound weighted vest, but I emphasized to the audience, hey, you need to keep it to 10% for your maximum. Now, did I begin with 12.5-pound weighted vest? No. I began the beginning of the pandemic wearing 1/4-pound wrist weight on each wrist. And I built
Okay.
up a 1/4 pound at a time because it is two people who are eager, who are enthusiastic. I don't want to knock that out of them, but that doesn't make sensible choices. It just doesn't. It becomes that all or nothing mentality set up for injury. And then it's like, well, now you're out of the game, right?
Yeah.
So instead, so that's what I did with that vest. And Dr. Clapper, he went, because I had asked him, should I take it to 13? And he's like, you don't weigh 130. What are you going to do that for? You know? And I was
Oh, okay.
like, okay, doc, I don't want to piss off the man, you know,
I
okay.
I had a feeling this stream because when I told Dawn, remember I said, okay, when I bring this guest on, I guarantee you and her are going to be conversating more than me and the other guests normally do because you are so into working out that I knew you would find this interesting. And
Yeah, I
between
love
you
it.
two ladies, you both look so young. I need to get my movement on so I can get this. And Marakita said, this is a freaking fitness academy. Thanks, Angela." That's right. Well, Angela, thank you for all the free coaching you're giving us here. Can you tell
Yeah, it's awesome.
us how you got started on this journey? Both, I know you're also vegan or plant-based, right? And a fitness coach. Did that all come at the same time,
Let
or
me
how did
tell
that
you
work out?
something. Let me tell you, ladies, this has been a trip for me, okay? It's a 35-year journey. And
Wow.
and when I went vegetarian, literally the day I put down the book, I finished the book Diet for a New America, and John Robbins had just released it in it was 86 or 87, and that's when I went vegetarian. And then I'm gonna guess I'm a bad vegan from the perspective I don't know my vegan anniversary and stuff, but it was about I'm about 1990 into 91 that I went vegan. And it was the same time that I became a certified personal fitness trainer at a time when the only sort of fitness instructors were aerobic teachers. All right.
Oh, right.
The step Reebok and all that. And I was like, I ain't doing that.
Olivia Newton-John, that whole
Yeah,
era.
I definitely wanted weights, and
Yeah.
you can't imagine the garbage, the crap I took from the men. I mean, they did their best to blow me out of the profession. They
Wow.
would do their best to try to. I would be on a weightlifting bench, all right? Let's say like on a bar and doing a chest press, right? And I had a guy one time, he came walking over to me. I'm not kidding you. I'm on my back and he looked like he was like ginormous, right? And I'm like, I think this guy's like 6'5", and he's really huge. He wasn't a lifter, he was a builder, okay? And he stood like this, cross arm, and he goes, I'll be GD'd, fill in the blank, if I stand here and wait for a female.
Oh, wow.
Want the bench.
Really?
I want the bench. And I had sat up and, it was Brooklyn. And I definitely had, I lived there and I was born there and partially raised there. I had that kind of street attitude. And I just was like, excuse me. And he, and I went, really? So I just laid back down and I proceeded to
Keep going.
Because what was he gonna do? Move you?
No, seriously, seriously, he was trying to.
I'd have been like, you're gonna wait for this one.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But this is 2023. This was 1990. Get it?
Right.
I'm back there and I'm going, I gotta hold my ground. I'm just gonna freaking work out. I don't care. But
Yeah, good for you.
thank you. You take that and then eating the way I was eating, and mind you, ladies, I was like, for part of that time, it was 5 years raw vegan. And so just to eat my meal at the gym that I worked at, and I worked there for like 11, 12 years. It was a phenomenal job, phenomenal. That's where I started with the seniors as well. But do you know what it was like to just eat your meal and they're seeing it's vegan and you're a female trainer, like with the weights? Who do you think you are? So I used to go hide and eat like we had like, the gym was enormous. It was 75,000 square feet. So I'd go sit in one of the empty squash courts just because maybe I felt like eating grapes that day.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to explain, because at that time, people weren't curious. They were nasty.
Yeah. Some people still are, right? But not as many.
You know what I'm saying when
Yes. Yes. It was very unheard of.
and that's why it was it's an amazing process. But it didn't matter. These people weren't gonna, they weren't gonna shake me. There's no way. I was just like, I'm and I'm doing it and I don't care. It was at that time period, also around 1991, that the managers and owners of the gym approached me and said, I was a new trainer there. And they said to me, I think we think that you would be a great fit with the seniors. And I told them I would be. I know I would be. And what they did is they put me into a program with the American Senior Fitness Association, their certification program. That program at the time was a full year. And you had to get tested and you had to go to a site and all that. And then you also had to have the hands-on work. And it was very extensive, and it served me beautifully for the rest of my career as far as working with the demographic. I'm my demographic now that I work with, right?
Right.
I'm working with me, and I'm working with, but who I've been working with all along is from 50 on up. And when I say we're taking this way beyond 50, is 90s, 100. It is an amazing privilege to be exposed to the commitment and the resilience of people who have major chronic or acute illnesses. And unfortunately, I think given the quality of the food in general, we have more and more people, younger and younger, with multiple illnesses. I'm not kidding you. ladies, when I get a new client now, and the client could be like 50, okay, 52, I'm contacting 5, 6, 7 different specialists for these people because I have 3 basic questions I ask of their practitioners. I need to know any movements that are contraindicated for their patient. If the patient has osteoporosis, I know what to do and I understand the protocol to it, but I can't treat her or him as a protocol or as a demographic. I have to treat you as an individual, and the only way I'm going to find out is if your medical practitioner knows you and knows your body, then that person's going to be able to say to me, hey, you know what? She can do a squat. Do the squat with her, even though it's a contraindicated exercise for the protocol, but for that human being, it's not. So that's why I ask the questions. The second question is are they taking any medications that have any contraindication for exercise or certain movements of exercise? Can that offset a problem with their, can that present a problem with their medications? And then the final question that I always ask is, well, are there any movements that you suggest I do? Some movements you think that would be really beneficial for your particular patient. And that's how I work. And I work like that with everyone. There are some people who are like, I don't want to do the client health history. Okay, next.
Yeah, because that covers
Yeah,
you,
right.
right? Like as well.
Yeah, but
And
you know
them.
what? Not really. Not really. Legally, that piece of paper means nothing. I need to know what's going on with your body
Right, right.
Mhm.
because I don't put together cookie cutter programs. I don't do
Yeah.
that. Your program is going to be different and it's going to be different than mine because we're unique individuals.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
That is
Makes
true.
sense.
That makes
Makes
that makes a
100%
lot.
sense.
And I'm
Everybody's
sure
body's different.
everyone appreciates that you work with too, that you're not trying to work them into some kind of routine that's made for this person or
Yeah,
for
I know
general.
that. But sometimes some of them get pissed off. Oh, they get pissed off. And I'll tell them, I'm not the enemy.
Right.
Right.
I'm doing this because I need you to be able to do this without me. And I know that you got this down. So when I'm in a session with somebody, if they want to record it, they can record it. I don't care. It's on Zoom, you know. But also what I'll do is when I put you in a position, you're working on something, it's a stretch or it's a strength training. And I'll say, hold right there because I know that they got it. They got it in their body and I take the screenshot. And then usually when I'm just in the beginning of a session training with somebody, each session's 10 photographs, 15 photographs, and I just send them to them. And this way they have something to refer to so they can see themselves in a beautifully executed exercise for their body.
Wow, that is
That's awesome.
excellent.
It's
I
really very cool. It's very cool to watch, to participate in. You know,
I'm sure that gets them excited and into it even more, especially when they see the picture themselves doing that. And you probably have them doing things that they never thought that they could do themselves.
and some of it is, look, I don't do anything funky crazy. I take
Mhm.
basic stuff that's going to represent activities of daily living, compound movements, multiple joints, multiple muscles, large muscles. There's nothing funky. I don't do HIIT. I don't do that stuff because the people who I work with, they got issues. Doesn't matter the age.
Right.
So I got to deal with the issues. And that's why I'm like, yeah, we're not doing that stuff yet. Maybe you can work toward that. I just need you to be able to
Mhm.
safely exercise and be and make it effective. I'm looking for women in particular. This is my message to younger women. Having gone through I had the diagnosis of the osteoporosis of a 90-year-old. A
Really?
90-year-old. Yeah.
And what can you tell us what that is? I've heard of it. It's like to do with your bones, right? Like
Right. So
osteoporosis.
the word means porous bone. So what happens is
Okay.
the bone will become like, and if you see some pictures of it, it's pretty amazing to look at. It becomes lattice-like. And
Okay.
all of the
Like
connections,
hollow?
yeah, it gets more and more hollow, but all of like the threads, they almost look like lace, right? But each connective thread gets thinner and thinner and thinner. And so what had happened with me is that any time that I got to like a really emotional place in my life, because maybe we all have trauma, we all have drama, we all have something that hits us hard. And with me, what would happen is I would go from the vegan, and with me, twice in my life, 2 5-year stretches of raw vegan, I would go right back to vegetarian, and I would hit the cheese hard. Hit it hard. And that to me is the ultimate pleasure trap food, salt, oil, sugar. And that thing would just pull me back in.
Dude, I went vegan with Jen, right? Yeah. And I ate meat still for a couple months, but then I let meat go like 3 years ago. But pizza,
right,
up until last August, everything else was vegan, because I always say I'm not a big egg eater. Milk, I was fine with almond milk, vegan butter, but pizza. And I don't mean vegan. Pizza was my thing. And I'm not a big cheese eater, but pizza, that's my weakness. It was my weakness.
Pizza is crack.
Yeah.
Italian, can you imagine the pizza? And so for me, it's like when I ultimately landed and just landed in myself, all right, was when I encountered Chef AJ. And I encountered her, what's called SOFAs free, salt, oil, flour, alcohol, and sugar free. To me, this is freedom. This is bliss, because it's all the crap that I gravitated back each time that I would leave stretches of time as a vegan and go back, or go from a healthier vegan back to junk food. Right, exactly. It's just the same old crap is crap, right? And it doesn't matter what kind of label. It was just that label wasn't harming any animals, but it messed me up big time. Because
French fries.
I ultimately wound up with a lot of diagnoses at one time. And you get hit that hard with what I got hit with one time, you better change your attitude toward food and welcome what is just simple and delicious. And that's what SOFAs free did for me. So for me, I think I'm on my, 6th or 7th year of SOFAs free. And it helps with a calm, stable brain. Plus working out.
Yeah. And what can you say SOFA? What was that stood for? Salt, oil,
flour,
or
alcohol, and sugar free.
All right. I'm right now. I've cut all them out. Alcohol was the last one.
There you go.
Or maybe it was it flour too, because I was eating bread.
Salt, oil, flour, alcohol, and sugar.
Yeah, now we're not talking about fruit.
Right.
We're talking about fruit, right? We're talking about,
processed sugars.
Processed granulated white sugar.
I used to like those vegan cookies.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yes. I think that was the last time I indulged in processed food. Remember the Tate's cookies?
Yes.
My mom brought them to us
vegan ice
around
cream, Ben and
my
Jerry's.
birthday, and that was like.
That's right, vegan ice cream, Ben and Jerry's. I'm sorry, you said about your birthday?
Oh yeah, I had those then, and it was they were so good. I had to keep eating, and then I was like, something inside me was telling me I don't want any more. It just stopped being all of a sudden I just wanted my body was gravitating back to raw because that's where I started at, and I just went to that, but then I still like indulge in beans and rice still, but I'm like back to mostly raw, no processed food, and I feel like sort of so much different. It's weird how you can have different levels of vegan. You know what I mean? It just feels like it's simple too. It's like you just eat whole foods, and I've started eating more fruit. I don't know if you recommend that too, but I really
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I live down here in Miami Beach. Absolutely.
Oh, that sounds nice. I bet
you train outside.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is train in this apartment right now with the heat, but it is like I need my fruit. Oh no, I'm real big. I don't believe in any of that. Cut your fruit. It's like, yeah, why? I don't understand.
Do you grow any fruit?
No, I live in a 400 square foot apartment. And it's just me, the cat, and my workout equipment. And
That's all you need, right?
I live a very simple life, a very humble, simple life, and I'm very grateful for it. The food is simple. Whenever I shop, people at Trader Joe's or wherever, they come over and they're like, "You own you own a restaurant, like like a vegan restaurant or something?" And I'm like, "Yeah, no." And they're like, "That's for you." I'm like, "Huh?" I said, "I'll see you next week because it'll all be gone."
That's great. I know that's the best, like when you get those comments, like when I have it delivered a lot of times now, but when I used to go to the store a lot, it's like, you eat that? You get all kinds of comments. It's all, you eat that much lettuce? Like,
Right.
yeah, over a week's time we do.
So,
Yep.
Oh, Marquita, that's great. She said I was like that too, vegetarian, vegan, back and forth, finally vegan forever. And she said I made my first dessert with half a potato and dates, and it was
wow.
good. Lemon bars. Nice.
Wow.
That sounds
That sounds
healthy and
interesting.
delicious. And Dawn loves lemon.
I do. I love just regular. I'll sit there and eat the insides of a lemon straight out.
Wow.
And I just read when I looked up what's the healthiest fruit, and I don't know, everybody probably has their opinions on this, but lemon was almost at the top of the list nutrient wise for its
I want you to
content.
be cautious. One thing about lemon, just be cautious of the rind on it.
Okay.
Read your label when you buy it because they've started heavily spraying citrus.
That's what we were talking to Minister
Yeah,
last night.
especially with the Bill Gates thing.
EWG, the Environmental Working Group, they're advising us now, be very careful about inorganic citrus fruit. I'm not talking about pineapple, but I am talking about oranges and mandarins and
So if we don't eat the white
We eat quite a
part,
few of
Right.
will
them.
we still get it?
yes, that's the problem. It's going through. It didn't used to.
Oh, wow.
It's going through. And if you read conventional oranges, a bag, all right, let's say at Trader Joe's, just pick it up and read the ingredients. I was astounded when I was there. I was
Wow.
like, I can't pronounce these words. What are these things?
That's like, I mean, we're trying so hard to be healthy,
Wow.
and they're throwing these
And they're
things
coming
in.
after our food now.
That's right. They're coming after our food. That's absolutely right. You got it. So it's really, I don't know. I mean, I didn't mean to be a Debbie Downer with that.
That's okay. We were
No,
just
it's
talking
fine.
about
We
it all
gotta be
week. We've been
informed,
talking
right?
about this, and now it's like that appeal or something that they're putting out, or peel, I think. Now I'm hearing, it's
Well,
terrible.
you know what
You have
it
to be
is.
really
I mean, I hate to
careful.
put it that way. It might be that these people who are, running the dairy industry and the meat industry and big pharma and all of that, they need to get rid of these vegans
Right, maybe so.
because we are eating fruits and vegetables and encouraging others to do it, and we're getting healthy, and we are messing up their plan.
Well, I think we are.
Yeah, definitely. And
So they got to get us somehow. Let's spray that crap and get them the hell out of here.
maybe so. I hope not.
It's grow your own food time.
Yes,
That
that's the
I
thing. I can't wait to
absolutely
try
agree.
that. I mean, we live in an apartment too, so we're not able to right now. We don't have the yard and thing, but that's something that I would love to get more into, or at least we got to be
We're talking
really.
about moving. We should move to Florida. I'd love to move to Florida.
It's
That's
a
an excellent place
beautiful
to have
place.
good climate to grow food.
It is a good climate. And yeah, I'm hoping to be able to connect with some people regarding that because the price down here in Miami Beach, it's exorbitant. It is exorbitant to eat the produce, what they
Wow.
give us. I mean,
And you have to buy organic in a lot of cases now that we're.
in my case, because of all the previous diagnoses, I have to because I can't take any chances.
So what happened? How did you now, was it these foods, getting rid of all that you actually said you reversed the osteoporosis, right? Or you don't have it
Well,
anymore?
what I did, I don't use the word reverse. I use
That's right.
yeah,
Yes.
because
Eliminated the symptoms.
yeah, it's just that the medical community will put
Yeah.
on that, right? Well, what I want to say though to that is that I downgraded it from the osteoporosis of a 90-year-old to age appropriate osteopenia. Because what people don't understand is that losing bone density is normal and natural as we get older. It is supposed to happen as we lose estrogen. I'm not a doctor, but I understand the basic process here. And so part of this is that it's a way to help us as seniors. I know that's going to piss off some people that I'm using that word, but I don't care. I earned that word, okay? I'm not at all afraid of that word. And if you want me to say something else, I'm open.
I'm a senior in high school.
You're a senior in high school. There you go.
We'll go with that.
So the point being is that as one gets older, we want to have less estrogen because it helps protect us from certain cancers from later in life. And so I just look at the mechanism and I go, okay, don't get cocky when you have a diagnosis of osteopenia. Don't get cocky about it. Use it. Keep yourself strength training, because that's how you're going to we want to keep strong bone. It's not about the density of the bone. It's about the strength of what you have. And that we can prevent the major falls that, will break a hip and stuff like that. And you want to train for muscle strength. See, that's why the throwing yourself through exercises is great, I think, for the mind. But I'm telling you, that is not the approach for long-term health as we get older. We can put that kind of energy into whatever exercise modality one likes, slow it down and be purposeful, and you'll be stronger. You'll work harder and you'll work more effectively than racing through something.
Okay.
And that's what this is all about, is I got to get young women to understand you got to lift weights or do some kind of real resistance training. Start when you're 30, because by the time you hit 40, you don't even realize that hypothyroid might be kicking in. People are telling you it's because it's perimenopausal, all that. You know what? That's a bunch of crap. It's because something else is really going on. And don't tell me that the process of stopping our menses is an illness. It's not an illness. Menopause is normal, and it's getting treated like a freaking illness. And instead, I like to slap some weights in your hands and put that fear into that weight. Now lift the weight and you're going to get rid of the fear, because that fear is trapped in your body. This is a very patriarchal system we're living in. We got people telling us what we should feel as women and what we shouldn't feel. And you know what? That's not normal. That's not normal. And you know what? You don't know how I feel.
Exactly.
All right?
Yeah.
Let them know.
Get me out of that demographic. Get me out of there. I almost said a word from Brooklyn. And so this is where I'm at this point in time.
Yeah.
As females, and as you identify as a female, step up, level up. Don't go down. Don't be wimpy about it, because that's exactly what they want of us. That's exactly what they want, to shape us into the wimp. And I'm just saying, here's a weight. How do you feel? I want to put the weights in the hands of a woman who had a mastectomy. And I've seen these women lay on their backs on a bench with weights and start to do a chest press and burst out crying, because for the first time since their mastectomy, they felt their pectoral muscle.
Wow. That's powerful.
Right in front of my face.
Wow, that's awesome.
To me, that is what training is about. I'm an exercise video provider for a couple of different online whole food plant-based organizations that are helping seriously ill people transition from SAD to whole food plant exclusive. So I'm providing videos for strength training and for yoga. And on one of the organizations, we do like a live Zoom class once a month for strength training. I got people there who've had strokes. I got people there in active cancer treatment. I got people there who are in a wheelchair, who are bedridden, who are carrying around with them a portable oxygen tank. And you know
Wow.
what it's like to see these women pick up weights and lift weights with me, who's on their back because they're bedridden, who's in a chair and do. I
And
don't.
you know that's gotta be helping their mind as well,
In
like,
their
that's
spirit.
making the difference.
It's unbelievable. And that I'm like, no, we do not chip away at that. You know what that they have to muster up inside of themselves in order to accomplish this. And I get to witness that. I get to see it and I know how real it is. And I don't want anybody trying to take that away from these women. And I will
Yeah.
do whatever I can to support that. So if they're in a chair, you better believe that I have told these organizations I want my videos inclusive of people who are in a chair as well. I have to pay attention to people who are bedridden because they're paying for a membership. I got to supply videos that are inclusive of them.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. And to me, this is all the forgotten generations. Kick them to the curb. Well, you can't reproduce kids any longer. So let's get you out of here. Oh, seriously? I ain't going down that fast, honey.
Right. Putting you out the pasture.
Yeah,
That's
like they do the poor cows, right? They just like, "Yeah, forget you, you no good," and now
Well,
and,
you go. I appreciate your
I I
passion.
thank
I
you.
was just
I mean, it's wonderful. It's something that women need. You know what I mean? We need those soldiers that are going to stand up and fight for our right to be healthy as well. You know what I mean? So good job for you.
And
Thank you.
thank you. And that we don't have dispensable body parts. You got it?
Right,
All
right.
right.
yeah.
I had them coming at me from a cancer center. They wanted me to have a hysterectomy, and they were at me for 2 weeks, 5, 6 times a day, calling me 5, 6 times a day, even on the weekends to have a hysterectomy. And I just was like, I'm not falling for the fear. Chris Wark was saying, don't fall into that trap of the fear. And
I always tell people that don't get caught up in the medical system because it is based in fear, and that's what they use to get you into all of these operations, taking a bunch of medicine. Before you know it, you're caught up in the system, and once the mind gets a hold of it, you're done.
that's
Yeah.
right. That's right. And so they wanted to give me a hysterectomy, even a thyroidectomy at some point, because I got diagnosed with subclinical hypothyroid as well at that time. And my attitude was always this. I was very like girly about it, because they fall for that crap. It shuts them up. And I was like, I just need a little more time because I knew that if I really honed down on the diet with Sophus free and I did certain physical exercises, osteoporosis, once you get cleared that you can lift weights or do resistance, that's what you do. You don't start out with not knowing, though. You have to know what your situation is. And so I knew, and I was presenting it, and I went to the medical doctors, but then I also went to Dr. Frank Sabatino, and he's like my main doctor. And I'll go to him, I don't know, once a year, once every year and a half. And whenever something goes on, it's like the other medical doctors are like, all right, you got to go to the other guy, right? Before you decide what you're going to do. I said, that's right. Don't be, and any of these operations and stuff like that, I knew I need time. This crap didn't come on overnight, and it's not going to advance
Go.
overnight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to be reasonable about it. I heard out all of the medical doctors because you don't blow them out of the water immediately. There's always going to be a golden nugget that you can grab a hold of, and then you say, okay, I got that. Now he doesn't know this or she doesn't know this, but I'm going to take that golden nugget and I'm going to do this my way.
Yep.
Mhm.
But I would not have known had I not gone to them.
Yeah.
So they're not my enemy, but I'm
Right.
right now, their approach to stuff isn't on my agenda.
Right.
This isn't.
Good
Because
deal.
that is and I was gonna say some people do things as a job and you can just tell that passion that you have is that's what truly motivates you is to see those people succeed. And that is truly inspiring to watch for sure. And we have a couple of, do we have time for a few questions
Yeah,
really quick?
and then we'll do the workout for the folks.
Yes, I know. We got on this tandem. We forgot the
No,
workout.
it's okay. I'm all good. It's all good. It's all good. It's your show. I just go with the flow, you know.
Let me see. Oh, she said, well, Marikita said Angela's middle name is Hope, and the high energy show is going to keep her up all night with excitement. And then Buddha has a question. The doctor says I need a test done to make sure I don't have osteoporosis because I'm too young, she says. I take vitamin D, work out, but I noticed it feels a bit different when I lift. What exercise would help?
Okay, because the possibility exists that you might have osteoporosis, I'm going to tell you something. You need to get that diagnosis first. You need the diagnosis because that's going to drive the outcome of what you can and cannot do. And I can't suggest an exercise in this particular situation because I don't know what your outcome is. And if you've been okayed to do certain exercises, you get that kind of information, then you can get back to me. You understand? And I don't know from vitamins. I don't advise on supplementation at all. I just stay within my scope of work. And I'm not a nutritionist. I can make some suggestions for you on whole food, plant-based, or plant exclusive registered dietitian nutritionists who are phenomenal with their information. So I'm happy to, Timmery Hagenberger is one of them. And she is an exercise physiologist. So out of all of the nutritionists, I would refer her because she has the understanding of exercise and the understanding of the food and whether or not supplementation is required for you.
Thank you.
You know, and they go, but the more you know about yourself, is this Buddha? Right. Okay. Buddha, the more you know about yourself, the more knowledge about whether or not you have an issue will open up a world of choices then. Right now, I know what it's like to teeter-totter. You're not quite sure where you're at, but in general, okay, in general, for those who do not have osteoporosis and for those who are still looking to maintain bone strength and muscle strength, you're going to do the compound movements. The program today that I put together for you folks is exactly what you would need. Exactly what you need, because it's all about working the exercises from that perspective of activities of daily living, functionality, and the larger muscles all working together at one time. It's not about bicep curls. Yes, there's a time and place for that. That's an isolation movement. But today's workout is strictly compound movements. That means that we'll be doing squats, and you're going to be doing a lot of squats today, and deadlifts, and then also getting the big back muscles, the big chest muscles, and the big deltoid muscles involved. So, you know, you might say, well, but what happened to the biceps and triceps? Here's the other concept I want to leave with people is, you know how Dr. T. Colin Campbell talks about not speaking about the diet as being reductionist, because people will say, all right, well, where do you get your protein? That's a reductionist question. That's trying to minimize it, okay, so that I can take a supplement instead of the food, disregarding the fiber and all the nutrients that goes along with that, disregarding the sun, the energy that all goes with that, right? So what I tell people is, think about that when it comes to exercise. It is not reductionist. I am not only working a bicep when I do the curl. I've got a whole bunch of other muscles involved. So the more that we can think that way, the more comprehensive that your workout will be, and the more it will serve you when you're 65 and 80. I got people who are in their late 80s regularly training.
Wow.
Wow.
With me for like whatever years, but on their own. My point is, I want you to get out and do your thing, but I want you to do it with knowledge,
Yeah.
with power and self-control, with whatever condition you're dealing with. So Buddha, today's workout, girl, this one is great
This
for the bone and for muscle.
Nice. One last thing, really quick. I know we have to get started. What age? I missed this one earlier. She said, "What age do the? Where did I see it at? What age do your bones start weakening? Is there a set age, or does it matter how much you work out and
You
things
know
like
that
that?"
they're showing studies now that it's happening in the 20s.
Wow, the 20s. I'm way. Oh, now I'm way
We're
over that. I better get started here. I better get going.
You have to get started because we are living in an age where we're so badly deconditioned. There's so much sitting, there's so much
Hmm.
just not getting up out of the chair to do stuff, right? I got my remote, that kind of way of thinking. And the fast food and all that.
Yeah.
It's really destroying us.
Yeah, we have really got to get everyone this message out, like to get eating the right thing,
Get it together.
having people understand that meat and dairy is bringing on these conditions and that the plant-based whole foods are curing and well, not curing. I don't want to use the wrong word here, but you know what I mean, that are making us feel better and making our bodies run optimally. And we have to get moving because you said that so many people, even since the pandemic, work from home. I'm one of them. I'm at a desk, like I was telling you, 12 hours sometimes, especially if we're doing a live stream after. I'm going to start standing up and doing these live streams. I see you're standing up.
Oh yeah, I have a standing desk. It was the first thing I bought when the
I
paper.
wanted one of them, I remember. Remember I was gonna get one of
I
those.
do. Coach has one.
Oh, that's
His
cool.
wife's trying to get it from him. He won't
That
give it
could
to
be on
her.
my workout while I'm talking on the phone, right?
That's
Yeah.
right.
Like, Doctor, is it Dr. Greger? I think he does his,
Walking treadmill. He's on
he's walking the treadmill, right? I love that. I was like, and you can tell by the end of it, he's just starting to get winded, right? And it's like, okay, I think it's about time to end the questions. I think
he
he's
puts
done.
in he puts in sometimes I think like 16, 17 miles a day. He's going very slowly, but the whole point is because his work is all about doing these these interviews that he's got to stand and move because
Yeah.
even when you stand, I start to get swollen if I don't really like move around. The edema will build up. I gotta move. I gotta pump
Yeah.
ankles and stuff. So now I have a question for you. Is it possible to get my screen larger?
Yeah, I think if we drop, you want
Let
to
me
drop
see.
out while we're doing the workout, or no, we can't do
I
that.
don't want I don't want to kick her to the curb. Oh, because I just want to be able to see what because my camera's really set up differently. Let me just check something for you. I want to be able to see me better so that I can
Let
see
me
what
see if I change these.
Oh wait, do that to her because it put me
Yeah,
lower.
that's what I mean. I may
I'm not
have
the
to.
star here. Oh wait, yeah, there we go. Just can you move her where you just moved me?
I may have.
Wait. Oh yeah, one more time, and then she'll go on the big one.
He's almost there.
We're almost
Um,
there. Look at
I.
this. It's like a
You know
workout.
what is gonna have to happen? I think you and I'm gonna have to kick us out of the stream
Will
and
it
then
end
make her
though?
bigger and then bring us back in.
But
And then
will
we
it
can.
end?
No,
Oh, okay.
no. Let's see.
So it just means that you're going to be there, but you're just off camera.
For a second, I think she's saying.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can't make us smaller.
Oh,
So let's try it.
Oh, there we go. And then get me out of there. I'm not the star.
you know what it is? It's just I got to see it.
Look, am I doing the right way?
You are. You are. That's funny. Okay, that really helped. That helped. Thank you. But can you hear me? And can I hear you? I'm not sure. All right. I don't hear you, folks, but I'm going to proceed. All right. And just checking here a little bit and how wide I go. All right. I think we got it. All right. Wonderful. Thank you, everybody. So we were talking about the type of approach to the workout today. And this is, you hear me. Great. Thank you. Thank you. So we're going to be working on the compound movements. We're going to do a total body workout. Now, today we'll be working between 8 to 15 repetitions. For the sake of time here today, I'm going to stick more to 8, and that would be considered one set. A set is a group of repetitions. When you go to do the workout on your own, you can do this in a superset approach, which is basically alternating 2 different exercises back to back without any rest in between. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about a medical disclaimer. Those of you who have the following issues, but this medical disclaimer is not exclusive to the issues that I mentioned because there are just so many. So anybody who's ever had any type of back spine issue, if you're medicated or not for hypertension, if you have vertigo, GERD, rotator cuff muscle issues, and that's like deep within the shoulders, a pinched nerve, typically at the neck, carpal tunnel syndrome of the wrist, or if you have knee issues. So what you want to do is pay attention to the suggestions and modifications that I offer you. But I will tell you that I would preview the workout first, look for what you can do, and then if you're still unsure, then maybe you want to invite the medical healthcare practitioner who knows your body best to preview the video as well, and then help you make an informed decision as to how to go forward. The accessories we'll be using today, they're pretty simple. We have yoga mat, and I like yoga sticky mat. I'm going to bring my microphone closer because I moved it. And here we go. All right, so a yoga sticky mat, sticky, I like that word. It sticks to the surface. You want to make sure you're working out on a flat surface with no throw rug underneath. Now, for the purpose of demonstration, and really, to be honest, this is how I work out. This is workout bench. Do you have to have a workout bench? No, you don't. But when you're on your back, you might want to go to the floor, and if you have a problem getting up and down off the floor, then lie down on your bed. Why not? Okay. And then also, we're going to be using weights. Now, you don't see a whole slew of weights down over here. So I'm going to be using a whole bunch of different weights today. I think I'm going from 10 and up to 25 pounds. So now, I don't want that to frighten people because maybe you have some of those issues I mentioned. So what we're going to do as a warm-up, we're going to do every single exercise without any resistance, without any added exercise accessories. And also, we're going to talk about how maybe one exercise isn't appropriate for those issues, and I'll show you another way to do it. But I promise you, you're going to be able to do the workout. I'm just checking my cat to make sure he doesn't knock down the microphone. This is T, by the way, T for terrific. And so that's basically it. Let's get started with the workout. So we're going to start off, Buddha, here you go. All right. So we're going to start off with squats. If you have knee issues, you just don't bend your knees as deeply. Or you can use the wall for support and do a what's called a wall seat. So you're just basically going to squat with your back supported by the wall, and you don't have to go down so deep. You protect your knees and your back. Back spine, that would work for you as well, because I want you to be careful of any kind of bending down, forward flexion. It's involved in a squat a little bit. So here we go. We're going to start off with the hips, the legs are hips width apart. And how we find out how to do this is place your hands on the high pelvic bone. It's called the iliac crest. Now, you might feel some like sharp bony projection, and that's called the anterior superior iliac spine. You bring your hands to the inside, not like this, straight down. That's hips width. Women like to do this. No, we're not that wide, right? So bring the arms out in front. I lift the toes inside the shoes. I'm going to sit back into a chair, and then as I exhale, I come up. I do a slight push forward. It's a posterior pelvic tuck, and I'm squeezing the glute. I'm going to show you from the side so you see. I sit back into a chair, and then here it comes. That little thrust forward, squeeze the butt. Inhale, exhale. Now, I lift the toes inside the shoes to spare the kneecap and to drive up through the gluteal. Boom, right in there. Couple more, exhale. So we want to exhale on the effort, E-E. Hold there. Next exercise is going to be an incline chest press, but I'm not going to use the bench yet, right? Because I want to show those of you who you might have vertigo or GERD, or maybe you're medicated or not for hypertension. You might want to do this one upright, okay? So if you've been told it's all right to lift weights and you're lying on your back, then good for you. So I'm going to show you to the side, and we're going to do what's called a wide grip. That's wide grip. Exhale, I'm going to push, and inhale, I pull back. Exhale, push, inhale, back. Now watch this area here, sternum, breastbone, push. Notice how it stays up. I don't collapse down. And exhale. Exhale. Now, if you want to do an incline, well, you can lean. For some people, it's a little too much on the neck, so you just have to see how you feel. 2 more. Exhale. 1 more. It's a great way to warm up. By the way, 55 years and older, you want to have a full 10-minute warm-up before you do any strength training. The next exercise is another type of squat. This one is called a goblet squat. Now, I mentioned carpal tunnel syndrome. When you hold the weight for a goblet squat, you're going to be like this. That's not good. This is wrist extension. Not good for carpal tunnel. No matter where the arm is, it's the hand position that's the issue. So you might want to do the basic squat position, all right, with your hands. So I'm going to go wider for a goblet squat, toes same line, toes lifted, nothing different. I'm going to put the hands up by the chin because I want the chin up on this. And I'm going to sit back into a chair and I'm going to get down there and then exhale, drive it up. Here it is from the side. Of course, knee issues, right? You're not going to bend down like that. It's all right. You don't have to. You just modify that range of motion. And a goblet squat really gets into the butt. So when we get into the buttocks, we're getting into the hamstrings, we're getting into those back erector muscles I spoke about. Large muscle groups of the body. How about 2 more? 1 more. Hold there and lower the arms. Okay, another incline chest press. But now I want a narrow grip. A narrow grip. So when I use the narrow grip, then the triceps is going to help to drive this. So we've got the pectoralis muscle. We've got the front deltoid, front of the shoulder. We've got that tricep muscle at the back of the upper arm. Remember what I said. It's not reductionist. 1 more. And take it down. Another squat. Sumo squats. Well, what do the sumo wrestlers do? They go wide. So that's what we're going to do. We go wide. Toes same line. Toes lifted inside the shoes. I'm going to put my hands on my thighs because that's where those weights are going to be for me. And I'm going to sit back and come up. Drive the butt forward just a little bit. Squeeze it. And squeeze the thighs at the top. Now, when I lift the toes inside the shoes, you're also helping your shin muscles, right? Those low leg muscles at the front of the low leg. These tie into the knees, help for knee strength. And of course, then that affects balance. This is a good thing. Boy, you really feel the butt and the thighs with this one. 2 more. For some, this is the workout, folks. And relax it. Now, the next one it's a mouthful. It's a double arm, all right? And it's a bent over back row. Now, why do we want to, who cares? Why do we have to bend over? Because in real life, you bend down, you pick up, and I want you to get up like it's no problem at all. And it's going to use a wide grip. Now, for those of you with back spine, also I'm going to say with the vertigo, GERD, and hypertension, I want you to do this one upright. So this is what it's going to look like. Take the arms and you row back. Now, you might be thinking, but isn't that a chest press? Well, it's the opposing muscle group, so that's why it looks similar. Now, I'm going to step back here so you can see the back muscles. So if you notice, the shoulder blades, the scapulae, they retract, they draw toward each other. I'm not yanking the arms back. I'm controlling them back. I'm pulling. So it's as if I'm pulling something super heavy toward me, and I have to take my time. Belly button is in, knees are soft, toes, I always kind of lift them. It's a little habit I just put into the work. You don't have to for every exercise. Last one, and down. All right, now, Buddha, this is going to be addressed toward you. Pay attention to this exercise. You know my cautions for you on it, but you want to pay attention to this. So this is a deadlift. Here's the difference between a deadlift and a squat. So the squat is this, right? We sit back into a chair, but with a deadlift, we're going to hinge. So it's quite different. Now, back spine issues. This is an absolute contraindication for you. If you already know that you have osteoporosis, do not do this exercise. Go back to one of the squats. You'll be great with a squat. Anything else I want to tell you about with this? No, that's it. So let's do our deadlift. So I like to go a little bit wider. Hands are gliding along the legs. Knees bend. Now, what if you don't have those issues, but your knees are not great, right? So you go like this. As long as you bend slightly and you hinge, you're in a deadlift. So it doesn't matter about touching the floor. Drive it back. My toes are lifted because I want to drive it through the glute. And let me tell you something. As we get older, those glutes get really weak. And they are a big reason for the major cause of falls in the home. And it can be avoided if we do lots of gluteal work. One more. And it's a great one for those back extensors we were talking about. So the next one is a lat, short for latissimus dorsi. Now you may have heard of this muscle because it's the big swimmer's muscle of the back. So it's a latissimus dorsi pull down. Now I'm going to show you down on the floor. When I have the weights, I'm not going to go down to the floor, but I want you to see what happens with the arms. Those of you who are medicated or not for hypertension, and if you've been told not to bring the arms up and overhead, you don't do this one. So I want you to bring the arms up and out in front just a little bit. And you're going to pull like this heavy bar down towards your chest as you lift the chest up toward the bar. So it's not straight up, right? Just a slight angle. Big back muscle. Does that mean it's the only muscle being trained? No, because every time I pull, the biceps are engaged. And every time I pull back, the posterior deltoid, they're involved. One more. And now, when you want to get up, I have the back toes tucked under. You put your hands on your thighs to push yourself off the floor. We have 2 more rounds, and then we're going to add the weights. So the next one is narrow squats, legs together. Caution. Those of you who have a valgus knee is like, this is a big exaggeration, but it's to bring the point home. Let me get with the white backdrop behind me. So it's a little bit like going knock-kneed. If you have that issue, don't do this exercise, and you can do the squat or the sumo squat or even the deadlift again. So for front squats, feet together, always line up the toes lifted. And here we go. I'm going to sit back into a chair, exhale up. Now, for this, when the knees are closer together, you might have a shorter range of motion. That's all right. I don't care if you're here and you come back up. Folks, another way to do this, if you're concerned about, because some people get concerned about falling with squats, get up and down out of your chair, because that's an activity of daily living. Getting in and out of your car, that's a squat, activity of daily living. And frankly, I'm going to say it, getting up and down off the commode is an issue for some people. It's a squat. So just practice it. Kind of getting up and down from a chair if you need. We're going to go for one more. Now, next exercise, I'm hitting the floor again. So this is called a military press, contraindicated possibly for those of you who are medicated for hypertension or not medicated. You may have been told, don't lift overhead, just like with that lat pull down. So then what I want you to do, let me stand up, let me show you here. What I want you to do is to bring your arms out wider like this and only come to shoulder height. This is called delt abduction. That's going away from the midline to delt adduction toward the midline. Don't go here, because if you have a rotator cuff issue or a pinched nerve, you're going to aggravate it, because when I go here and start to come out, I'm in the rotator cuff. But if I'm here 10 to 15 degrees away, I just hack that puppy and I'm not in rotator cuff, I'm in deltoid. So you got, that's your approach. The rest of us for military press, AKA shoulder press, wide grip, exhale straight up, not on a diagonal, straight up, push. Why do we have to do this exercise? Because if you want to reach up to the top shelf of your kitchen cabinet, you better do this exercise. If you want to put your groceries away and you got cans of beans that are going to go up high, you need to do this exercise. Also, some people own a home and they have a box in an old closet and they're just throwing crap in that junk box kind of thing. Well, one day they may have to take that box down, and you don't want that box crashing into your chest. Last one. Exhale up and down. One last round, and then I'm adding the weights, folks. So we're going to do front squats. Now, front squats, they have a challenge because they're going to challenge the balance. They're going to put the weight out in front of you, right? So what I do is I bring my feet a little bit wider to accommodate my back a bit. And you want to imagine that you have your weights up by your shoulders, in front of the shoulders. So that's a front squat. Toes lifted. Here we go. And exhale. It's that same concept. Sitting back into a chair. Exhale up. Let's turn this way for you, just to change the view a little. My chest, my head stays up. Now, why is that important? Because I want the cervical spine of your neck and the lumbar spine of your low back to duplicate each other. They both have a natural lordotic curve, which kind of implies a little bit of an arch, which is a back extension. Two more. My thighs are going to talk tomorrow. And slowly take it down. Are you ready to add the weights? Because I'm ready to go. We're going to start off with the squats. I'm going to come around and get, now here's my 25 pounders. This is called the suitcase grip, when you hold your weights like this. You can hold your weights up to your shoulders if you want. So I'm standing hips width, toes lifted inside the shoes. And here we go. Sit back and exhale up. Now, this is 50 pounds on my body here, right, that I'm holding. I'm not going to go fast. I can't. Exhale. So there's the pelvic tuck at the top, the squeeze of the thighs, the belly button in, the toes lifted. Don't let the weights wander out in front of your knees. Keep them along the side of your thighs and butt. Exhaling and inhaling through the nose if possible. If not, all right, that's all right, as long as you breathe. And relax there. Let me just return the weight. All right, I already have the bench preset on an incline, and I recently leveled up from 15 to 18, but I got to be honest, I don't like the weights. They're really fat in my hands and hard to hold. So I'm still looking around for another set. Here we go. Exhale. So, chest is lifted. Have you ever encountered a really old building those doors are just so heavy. So the action of trying to push them open requires strong hips and strong arms and chest. Do you ever push your super heavy grocery cart? Well, you need strong pecs for that, pectoralis muscles. Exhale, the muscles that help here will be the front deltoid, the anterior deltoid of the shoulder, and that tricep muscle. It's not reductionist. Woof. Last one. Exhale. Now, when I have heavier weights, I bring the thighs up toward the weights to lower them down. Just a little safety tip. Cross your weights whenever you set them down so they don't roll. All right, my next round is going to be those goblet squats, again, with those incline chest press, but with narrow grip. So I need to grab a 25-pounder for the goblet squats. And let me show you my little trick I do here. So I put it up here to set it. Here's that grip that's inappropriate for carpal tunnel, right? Here we go. So goblet, I go wider. I really keep the chin up. Inhale, exhale. Get down there if you can. Woo! There's that one little beat of, is she going to get up there? Exhale. Woo. I'm going to go for 3 more. Last one. Oh, yeah. Watch yourself, especially if you're in a small space like I am. It can be very congested, so be very careful with how you put things away. All right, now with the inclined chest, but with the narrow grip. This gets more tricep, by the way, than the wide grip does. But I think the wide grip is more challenging. Got to be careful with animals around the weights. Okay. Make sure they walk by, because you never know if you're going to drop a weight. Puff up the chest. We don't want the chest to collapse, much like when we did the upper body work. We don't want that to collapse when we showed you the chest before, when we actually showing you back exercise. Keep that chest up. When I lift the weights here, this is where people collapse the chest. Keep it lifted. Exhale. I'm going to go for 1 more. Bring the thighs up toward the weights to set them down. Okay, next round is sumo squats with that double arm back, bent over back row. So I'm going to grab the 18. Now I was previously using 130-pound weight for the sumo. Now this is 36 pounds for leveling up. Toes lifted. Sit back and exhale up. Squeeze right. Squeeze butt and thighs. I'm going to go a little lower on my thigh. There it is. I found that juicy spot. That's it. Chin up. Natural lordotic curve for the neck and the lower back. Let's go for 2 more. I'm feeling it. I'm going to go for another one. Last one. See, you can never underestimate yourself. All right. Next round is deadlifts with that lat pull down. So I'm going to grab, what I'm going to do here is lower this down so then I can put the weights here to use it. I'm going to grab 20 pounds now for the deadlifts. When I have a heavier weight, I do like the wider stance for my deadlift. Toes same line, toes lifted. Here we go. Chin up, back spine. You're not doing this at all, remember. So try to remember those contraindications and suggestions that I said at the beginning. It's not a big back bend. It's more of a tuck under with the glute. Knees must bend. You know, there is such a thing as a stiff-legged deadlift. I don't go there. Others do. That's okay. But not for this approach to the work. Oh, yeah. 2 more. Lots of back work, glute work, hamstring work. 1 more. Big muscles, folks. And hold a beat. Okay. Let me see. Yeah, lat pull down. So let's grab the 10s for that. I think I can do this for you down on the knee. All right, so you can see. Actually, let me just pull over a little bit. Okay, yeah. So I'm leaning back a little. This is not the one that's straight overhead. Remember, hypertension, you got to double check if anything overhead is appropriate. Notice that the more I work, the less I talk. Good, take it down. And I'm going to put the weights down. Now let's see what the next round is. Just make sure that they're all right there. All right. Narrow squats with military press. So I've got my 20s. Feet together. Remember, not for valgus knee, not me. Go back to the previous squat if you want. So I'm going to sit back, toes lifted, exhale up, pelvic tuck, squeeze. Notice that I'm not bringing those weights out in front of me. Keep them alongside the thighs, your hips, outer legs. And as I said before, the more narrow, the less range of motion. Two more. One more. Okay. Now, military press. Now, I want to level up in front of you, all right? So I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. So let me grab these weights and put them on the bench. So I like to use 15-pounders for my military press, but I know that I could use a little more oomph to it. So people might be frightened of leveling up. When you talk about that, they might think, oh, you know, you got to jump a lot of weight. These are wrist weights. These have 1 pound in them. And that's how I level up. You heard me before about the weighted vest. From the wrist weights was 1/4 pound increments. You gotta be patient with yourselves. There's no quick fix. And anybody who tells you there's a quick fix is full of crap. They're also robbing you of part of the fun. Okay, here we go. Straight overhead, not for hypertension, not for pinched nerve, not for rotator cuff. I showed you the delt abduction, adduction earlier. Two more. You want to get to that fatigue. I'm going to take those wrist weights off. Thank you for letting me indulge in that. But at least you can see a safe way to level up, right? You know? Okay, now I think we're on our last round. Yes, we are. So now it's the front squats. I use 15 for these. This is the one I go a little bit wider than just hips width, just a slightly wider. Come a little forward. You can still see the sneakers in the frame. So I put those weights in front of the shoulders. And I'm going to sit back. Toes lifted. So I just thought of something that could be a contraindication would be if you have golfers or tennis elbow. Because, you know, you got a lot of flexion here at that elbow joint. And you're holding weight. Oh, do I feel this one? This is my 4th time doing this. Come on, girl, you got this. One more. Careful, careful, careful. Lowering the weights down. And I think I'm going to pick them right back up. Yeah, so I'm going to do that military press again, but with a narrow grip. So I'm not going to use the wrist weights for this one. Here we go. Oh, you have an ear issue? What happened, T? You have an ear issue, my love? I'm going to check what he did. I think he overly scratched himself. One more. And slowly down. So I'm going to put the weights over here. And I'm going to do some stretches. And I want to use the bench for part of that. So I'm going to be lifting the backing. Now I need to grab a towel because I knew I would be soaking. Okay. So let's do some nice stretches for the total body because that's what you just did. All right, so we're going to start off with interlock the fingers, turn the palms down. If you are hypertensive and you've been told not to squeeze the fingers and put one hand on the other like that. Pelvic tuck, belly button in, knees soft. Then you bring the arms up and the palms face the ceiling. So I'm squatting down lower just so you can see the position of the hands, then I'm going to stand. Now, I don't want you doing this, particularly if there's pinched nerve or rotator cuff issues. We want a relaxed shoulder girdle. We want a super long neck. So you can turn your head from side to side. And if you have vertigo, you might not want to do this. I don't know if it could bring on a dizzy spell or not. By the way, when I say the contraindications, they're not going to cause an issue if you don't have it. All right, don't be afraid of doing something because someone else can't do it. There's a big difference. And we lower the arms down. And let's bring that left arm across. And you're going to bend the right elbow and hook it above the left. Now, for some people, they can't reach, so you use your hand. And the idea is I'm pulling across, then depress the shoulder back and down. So there's 2 actions going on at the same time. Here, we're stretching deltoid, rotator cuff, and long head of the tricep. Then we release the arm, bring that hand to the shoulder, but notice how low the elbow is. And I want you to bring the arm up through a range of motion in that the glenohumeral joint of the shoulder. When I take the stretch, it's not just about stretching from here. It's about thinking you're lifting from the whole entire side of the body. Tricep primarily, but you've got some back muscles here involved. And slowly lower. We're going to dangle that left arm out in front. How you doing, my friend? You okay? And we're going to stretch the forearm. Pardon me, folks. He's just a little agitated. I'm sorry. All right. You okay, T? Take a seat, my love. So this is the forearm extensor that we're stretching. And now I'm going to turn it over. Those of you with carpal tunnel, you're not going to do this stretch because you're going into extension. So what I'm doing is stretching the flexors here. So when you go to stretch a muscle, you do the opposite of its action. And notice I've got the thumb in there. I want to get those fingers stretched as well. Then release the arm, shoulder roll it. Bring it across, opposite, push, pull, and depress. Ooh, this side feels it more. Not unusual. Belly button is in. Now, when you do your stretches, you want to hold them for a good solid 20 to 30 seconds each. And then we're going to bring the hand to the shoulder, elbow points down. Take that shoulder socket through a range of motion. Move the hand behind the head if it's possible. Then we lower, take the forearm extension stretch, okay for carpal tunnel. I know it can get very confusing, right? You don't want to lock out the elbow. It's what I call the eye of the elbow. And then you turn it over and get those extensors. Get that thumb in there. Get your thumb in there. Lower down, shoulder roll. Push the walls away. Push them away. Now, carpal tunnel, you're not going to do that. This is that extension again. But what you're going to do is keep your arms open, reach out through your middle fingers. Just reach. Now, I'm not bringing the arms back here. It's out to the sides and reach. And that's what ballet dancers do. They work through the middle finger to get those gorgeous, long, elegant arms. Now, inhale, turn the thumbs down. Exhale, interlock the fingers behind you. And if you are told not to interlock, you can always just use the towel behind you as well. Now, I want you to focus on something here. A couple of things. Shoulder blades together, retraction. But be careful of this forward head projection. People do this thinking they're bringing their arms further back. It's not about how far back you bring the arms. It's about how much you open the chest muscle in the front delt, because that's what it's for. And it's for a lovely scapular retraction. And release. Let's shoulder roll. One more for the upper body and just a couple for the lower. I bring the arms out in front, hands lower than the shoulders. Crisscross, one wrist over the other. I'm not interlocking the fingers. They're just straight. Inhale, I lift the chest. Exhale, depress the shoulder. Look down at the fingers without dropping your head. Let your eyes look down. This is an upper trapezius muscle stretch, primarily. And then inhale, head neutral, crisscross. Exhale, look at those fingers without dropping and diving the head down. I'm reaching out through the fingertips. Then release the arms. And now just a basic quadricep stretch, front of the thigh. Okay, Dawn, this one's for you. I'm going to take that stretch. Now, don't push out into the standing hip. You want to be up nice and tall. You can even hold on with both hands, drawing the heel toward the butt, pelvic tuck. And I'm going to do it from the side on the other leg, so you'll see. And release. So I grab, pelvic tuck, and pull. Now, you don't want that knee to come forward because then you won't have a stretch. And the more pelvic tuck you have, Dawn, the more you're going to get up into that hip flexor, by the way. And release. And last stretch I'm going to show you is for the hamstring. Two ways you can do it. For those of you with back spine issues, you can take a seat, use a yoga strap or a nice long belt, bring the leg out in front, heel down, toe up, loop your strap around the ball of the foot, because I don't want you doing this. The rest of you can. You can do that forward flexion, H down. but keep the chest up. This is not about rounding, right? Now I'm going to show the rest who want to do it a little differently. You're going to stand and use the bench, okay? So I'm going to bring the leg up. Now when I adjust, I want to make sure this opposite foot is straight. Oh my God, it is so talking to me. So I'm pulling that right hip back, drawing that left hip forward, bringing the left ribs, the left shoulder toward the right foot. Keep the head up for all conditions, for everybody. Keep the head up. Don't let it drop. So I've got the plantar fascia, the connective tissue underlying the foot. I've got the Achilles tendon, the calf, the hamstring, the glute, and the low back. And then you take it to the other side. So seated or standing, straightening, pull, 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 pull. Left hip back, right hip forward, just square off the pelvis. Right shoulder, right ribs toward that left big toe. Plantar fascia, Achilles tendon, calf, hamstring, glute, and low back, all getting stretched. It is not reductionist. And that's what I have for you tonight, folks. I want to thank you so very, very much. Are you ladies able to come back on? Oh, I'm glad it did. Thank you. I'm glad it did. So I'm not. I hear you.
That
Hello.
was amazing.
Wow.
Thank
Let me,
you.
Yes,
oh
I
goodness,
did. I
look,
felt it right in that area.
I had to move my little sheet around to get
Some
moving.
room?
Yeah, that was
Thank
good.
you. That was
I
so
got a little
cool.
sweat going.
Good deal.
And,
Good deal.
and you don't think, if to your point though, that's the thing. I didn't think you can, you don't realize by stretching and just lifting you do. It's almost like cardio.
Well, yeah, because if you work the larger muscle groups, yes, absolutely. It'll send the heart rate up. The heart's going to be beating. Thank you, Buddha. I appreciate that. And thank you, Mighty Kita. It's been so sweet.
That
Yeah,
one that you did, the bending down that first time, because I sit all day, I didn't even realize that was so tight until I stretched it. I was like, "Oh, this feels good." I'm
realize
gonna be doing that.
when you're at your desk, you're in forward flexion the whole time. So here's a good one. I'm going to show you one, and this is for Buddha. I don't know if she left or not, but we'll let her
Oh
know.
no, she's here.
Okay, so back extension, right? Back extension. So when I come from the deadlift and I come up, that is a natural extension, but I want you to take this a little deeper, especially you, JJ, all right? So I'm going to place my hands on the sacrum. That's the flat, sort of upside down shaped triangle at the base of your spine. Now, I'm going to think in terms, I'm sliding the sacrum down toward the heels. Does it slide? No. Now, those of you who have had a stroke or a TIA, transient ischemic attack, and if you have vertigo or GERD or hypertension, you keep your head neutral, all right? But for the rest of us, if you feel this is great for you,
Oh wow.
then you go for it.
I don't
Wow.
think I've never arched my back that far.
You look like a C.
And
Yes.
I just got a spinal adjustment. And now to come up, I straighten my knees. I lift my kneecaps, lift them up to isometrically contract the quads. I inhale to offset orthostatic hypotension, that rapid plunge of the blood pressure. And then I exhale, and you can take some nice big shoulder rolls. So that back extension is what the world needs to do, whatever their range of motion. If people have back issues, and typically those with back spine can do this typically, but maybe you can't, right? But even if it's if this is your range of motion, you're still in a back extension, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you will benefit from that.
Wow, that was really cool.
Good. That's the kind of stuff is useful, that is applicable
Yeah.
to deal with in daily life, right?
Yes, definitely. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. I was like, I'm not on mute again, am I?
Do you hear me okay?
I do,
Okay,
yes.
great.
Thank you. And that was a
That was a
great
great workout.
instruction. I like the way you take us through it and you did it nice and slow and not rushed through. I think I even saw someone else comment that on one of your videos too,
Oh,
because
really?
yes, you definitely have a way and you also talk about everything that, talk about what's going on and what we're actually working at the time. And I will never learn all of the names of those muscles that but that's okay. I'll just
Right,
listen to you say
exactly.
them.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing that knowledge is power, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I don't like to be talked down to. I don't
Mhm.
like. Let me tell you something, ladies. I had a doctor one time who wanted to give me that hysterectomy, and he goes to me. He goes, because I had ovarian cysts. I had two on the left ovary the size of a grapefruit, and one on the right ovary the size of a small orange. The one on the right just absolutely it dissolved on its own from all the work. I do a lot of work on the lymphatic system. So anyhow, this is what he says to me. He goes, "We don't want you in pain." And I said to him, "We?" He said, "We don't want you in pain." I said, "So by your understanding of this pain that I have, can you tell me that if a cyst bursts, will it be as painful as the attacks and spasms I've had?" And he said, "Oh, yes." I said, "I can take it." No,
Nice.
I don't like that condescension stuff, right?
Yeah.
So talk to me, and if I don't understand, I'll say so. But I want to give the people the knowledge of the anatomy that because sometimes a little bit sinks in, a little bit
Yeah.
sinks in, a little bit more, and a little bit more. How do we get, how do we gain knowledge? We keep trying to study it in some way, whatever it is, right?
Yeah. We
Also,
don't even know we're learning
Absolutely.
sometimes, and we are,
yeah.
like tonight, we've learned so much.
Well,
Well, that was amazing.
thank you very much. I was very,
Thank you.
very
This
thrilled to be
was
here.
really an honor to be able to finally meet you well, I guess as in person
I
as
know
this is,
it is.
right? And to like watch a workout, that was such a great. I'm so glad that you suggested, to be able to do that for us because
Good.
that's our first. We've never had a guest take us on a workout journey. That was so cool. I'm like, yeah, that's a
Awesome.
great idea because like you said, I one thing was I was excited because it's gotten me motivated. I know, I think everyone Buddha's had a great workout with you, and Marikita said it's got her wanting to get
I
her
enjoyed it.
workout gear out. I'm like, it's really been fun. Dawn's even stretched out her leg. We didn't
Oh,
even know we were
wonderful.
getting that healing.
Yeah, I was doing that,
Mhm.
and I felt it right in that area.
Yeah, yeah. It's amazing how the body works, but let me tell you something, you can count on it. You can count on it, it's gonna do what it has to do.
Yep.
Even to self-protect, right? Even to,
It's meant it was made to heal itself. As long as we
right.
give it the tools
Except
that it needs to do that, it will do it.
and the food. Because
Yes.
people
That's
think,
that's actually what I mean. Yeah,
right, because people think, well,
food and exercise.
people may be gifted. They may be gifted in a certain athletic way, but that gift is going to give at some point. And then
Mhm.
and if you've been feeding yourself ding dongs and crap like that, or, hoagies and crap, what kind of a recovery do you think you have?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
What kind of, it's all about the recovery.
yeah.
So when
Well,
you,
I love that we're putting this message out because a lot of, especially people in the workout field that you probably know, they tend to think I need meat and I need all this protein, and it's like so many myths that I love it when we see someone like you who's in that realm, who works with people and is that something you do as well, or do you stick with working out with your clients, or do you recommend them to go on a whole food plant-based diet if
I
they
always
ask?
recommend that. If they ask, I'm always going that way. And
Yeah.
any materials I hand out to my clients, they've all come from whole food plant exclusive practitioners, whether they be doctors or registered dietitian, nutritionists, whatever their handouts are, it's always from somebody plant-based. And my clients know that. Look, I've had clients for many years, and they're eating the standard American diet, but I can tell you, they're eating more beans and greens because of you know who.
Right, that's good. Hopefully, we're making that kind of change in people. Just add more, add more, add more, and we can get rid of the other stuff, right?
And
That'd be
then
even better.
what joy to work with these people on these platforms, because I don't have to answer that question, where do you get your protein?
Exactly.
Right.
Well, thank you
We
so
know.
much. I know that you've really been probably at this all day. You've probably been working out and everything. So to stay and be with us this late, we appreciate it. And can you
I
tell
was,
us where can we find everything? I've got the links will be in the description, all the
what,
workout equipment disclosure, but can you just tell us like where they can find you and what you'll be
sure.
doing?
And if you look at my shirt, you'll get an idea. Boomer and Beyond Wellness is on everything. So if anybody is interested in working with me, asking questions, they can go to my website on the contact form, and they can send me a message from there. And it's boomerandbeyondwellness.com. And I'll repeat it, boomerandbeyondwellness.com. And the social media that I do is primarily Facebook. I'm starting to get more into Instagram. And I have a new YouTube channel. And this show, with your permission, is going to be up on that YouTube channel so people can experience your work and mine. And
Great.
it is all with Boomer and Beyond Wellness.
And Boomer and Beyond Wellness, can you tell us when did you come up with that name or how did you come up with that? I'm assuming because it's Boomer and Beyond.
That's it. You know, I am a boomer, right? And now I am beyond. So that's who I work with. So that's the scoop. You know, sometimes I work with somebody younger, but I have to tell you that really my gift is in the older. However, I do also teach prenatal yoga.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Now,
cool.
I did that on purpose years ago because I'm like, I really need to be on the opposite end of the spectrum, because sometimes it's not always a happy ending, right?
Yeah.
So I like to be involved too in the early stages of life. And I don't treat my prenatal women like I plan them. I get them ready for the marathon of a labor. Labor is a marathon. That's how I look at it. And
Right.
they got to train. So I got them doing squats and all kinds of stuff.
That's
You're a
great.
boomer, aren't you? Too young to be a boomer? Aren't you a Gen Xer?
Oh no, I'm 65.
I mean,
Mm-mm.
because my mom was I'm 55, so my mom was 20 years
You're a
older
Gen
than me.
Xer. You're a Gen X.
Wow, 65. Okay.
I know I'm a Gen.
You're on the outskirts of it though.
Well, I think it was.
You're almost a Gen Xer.
I think it was. I don't know. 60. I think it was 62 that a boomer came into be. I don't know, but I'm definitely a boomer though.
I don't know what I am, but I know I'm excited.
Ah, glad to hear it.
You're a Gen
Is there
Xer, I think.
anything else you want to say in closing, a message you want to give us?
Yeah, just don't take no crap from anybody who says you can't do something because of your age. That's just.
That's right. I know that's right.
Woo! We are ready. We are pumped in more ways than one here.
Absolutely, and also say
Woo!
that because you're a female that you can't do something. Oh, that I don't like those words. I can't. No, I want to hear. I'm going to try. I don't know. I'm going to experiment. I'm going to give it a shot. That's the attitude. You know, you can take the pressure off, right? But don't go, I can't. That's why I tell people, preview the workout first and look for what you can do. You've been hearing about what you can't do for a long time. Now you open
That's
your
right.
own eyes. You know yourself. Look at it and look for what you can do, because you're going to find it.
And just do it. That's like, I know that's the whole Nike thing, but you got to do something. So this, even if you think you can't take it, like you said, that's a great advice, or to do a great idea. Just take what you can and do it, and a little bit each time really adds up. Buddha, thank you. Buddha is our excellent
She is
moderator.
our moderator
She said, let's
extraordinaire.
get to 15,000. We're working on it. Thank you, Angela. I know subscribed, and we had 99, I think, when I looked earlier. I'm about to hit that 3 digits, and one day we are going to have that
All she needs is one
15,000. I
for
know
100.
it.
Yeah,
And
did you get my
Marakita, thank
message?
you.
Did you get my message? Because
Yes.
I went in on another account. I said,
Thank you. I was like, yeah, it went up. And then I saw that, and I'm like, I'll
We
take
got to
them
get
any
it
way I
done,
can
right?
get it.
if the folks wouldn't mind coming to my channel, and if they could subscribe to me as well, I would certainly
Yes.
appreciate it. And getting ready, I've got a new, actually another a yoga video that I put together. It's standing yoga poses, but with a chair.
Oh, that's neat.
Oh, that's
Okay, we're
pretty
gonna check
cool.
that out. So everybody
Oh, I
go
can't wait
Not
to
up
check
there
that
yet.
out.
It's
subscribe.
not up there yet. It's going to get posted when I post this stuff. So
And the
I'll let
YouTube
you know.
channel is Boomer and Beyond Wellness too,
That's
right?
it. Yep.
All
It's
right,
not my
easy to
name.
remember.
It's it's Boomer and Beyond Wellness. So thank you all. This is a lot of fun.
Marakita, thank you for
It sure
joining. And
was.
Dawn, thank you for setting up this stream and getting us our
Thank you,
links.
Dawn.
And
Thank you so much.
Angela, thank you for
You're
joining
welcome.
us. And we are so thankful that you were here. And I guess, what are we going to do next? I guess we got to eat.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And I'm gonna Buddha. I will see you Tuesday. And Marakita, thank you also for being here. I really, really enjoyed this, Angela, and I'm definitely going to check out your YouTube channel, subscribe, and get the notifications, and watch some of your videos and do some of those exercises. And I'll keep you posted on my little injury thing I
do
got
that,
going on.
right? Absolutely.
Yes, everybody
Yeah.
reach out
Yeah,
for
because
some
I'm going to do
coaching.
those stretches and let you
And
know
I
what's
want to
happening.
let you both know that, at my age, when I see younger generations coming along and who are really committed to the cause and to the movement, it does my heart so good. I mean, I'm getting goosebumps, and just I'm so pleased to see. And I know the both of you have just such an authentic, genuine, compassionate people toward the animals and toward the cause of the planet and toward the cause of our own personal health. We're all important. All of it is important. So, ladies, you go forth and conquer. Take no crap.
Thank you. We will remember these words of wisdom from you, and thank you for everything you do for so many people and helping, and for being such a positive spirit and energy for us. And I could ramble
As usual, we're going to end with the poem that I produced the video, and Jen wrote the poem and did the voiceover work. We're going to end with the poem that we always do about becoming a vegan.
Before we do that, don't forget to subscribe to J&J Video Reacts too. I wanted to say that, as well as Boomer and Beyond Wellness. All right, that's all. Thank you, everybody. Veganella's JJ. I'll stop talking now so we can watch the poem. See ya. Thank you.
Have a good night.
If we can become a plant-based nation, we could get off all our medication. We want to keep doing things like we were, donating to organizations claiming to fight for a cure. But the cure is already in front of our eyes, and it's time for us to wake up and realize. We may not want to believe we have control. It's easier for most of us to metaphorically live in a hole. So many stories of how being plant-based has reversed disease. It's funny that we can't stop eating meat with ease. We want to continue to look for the answer, yet people have reversed even cancer. I think finally as a nation, it's time to give people the truthful information. Your hard-earned money is what you pay to take your medicine day after day. Sadly, there's a lot of money being made in people staying sick. This has to finally make something click. We have to have this revelation that a cure means not selling medication. There's so many myths and misconceptions, but it's eye-opening once you make the connections. That meat and dairy are causing insulin resistance. It's not sugar and carbs causing diabetes, for instance. Scientifically, our bodies are not set up like carnivores. We model those who eat plants. If you can heal, why not give it a chance? You follow your car's owner's manual for what gas it takes, yet for our bodies without care, we feed it steaks. That's like giving an unleaded car diesel to drink. Our bodies will reject it, don't you think? I'm not here to tell you what to do, but to be a voice, that when it comes to your health, you have the choice. With just a few adjustments to your diet, I can help if you just want to try it. I've found testimonials that people have reversed every ailment and disease by simply eliminating meat, eggs, milk, and cheese. There's a tasty substitute for all the things you already eat. You can get all your nutrients without eating meat. Save the animals, the environment, and yourself just by making a few different selections off the grocery store shelf. It's never too late. I've seen it work at all age ranges. It's my passion, and I can't wait to hear about your positive health changes. It's time for the world to wake up and heal, and you can start with your very next meal.